3 or 4 years back, our board of directors said, there's not enough federal money, there's not enough state money, there's not enough city money to repair and build all the infrastructure needs in our country. The American Society of Civil Engineers gives America a D in its infrastructure. We've fallen way off the map in regards to the rest of the world with our infrastructure. We have to rebuild. If we're going to stay a competitive nation, we have to rebuild our infrastructure. What comes with that? It comes with job creation. We all know that. How do we do that? A number of years ago, a lot of investment started coming from around the world into the United States to build infrastructure. We've always built infrastructure with tax-exempt bonds. It's not the traditional way that we've built infrastructure. But times are constantly changing. So here outside money was coming in, and what we looked at was that how do we protect workers? How do we protect labor standards? Because when it's private, there is no Davis-Bacon. There is no prevailing wage law. We have to figure out how can we protect workers as infrastructure has private dollars coming in. At the same time, in another room with another hat on, we're looking at our underfunded pensions. And we're saying, wow, how do we get to that actuarial assumption to pay those pensions that we have, the obligations that we have for those retirees that are depending on that check every month, to those apprentices that are the future retirees, to the current members? How do we pay those pensions? How do we generate the proper return, the safe, sound return, so that we can get those pensions and keep our pensions funded? And we looked around and we said, if you look at the liabilities of the pension, 30, 40, 50-year liabilities, and we matched those liabilities with an investment vehicle that can take that return and match that return that we need to fund those pensions, we said infrastructure investing is long-term, long-dated assets. I learned this from Sonia, and I'll talk about Sonia in just a second. We can have an investment vehicle that will generate those returns for our pensions. So we went about looking for someone to head it up and run it. That's where I met Sonia Axter. Now, Sonia has got an MBA from Stanford, and she's a civil engineer, and she's got all the great credentials. But when I met Sonia, what I liked about her the most was I liked that she had wore a hard hat and she'd sat in a job trailer. She knew what it was like to be on the job site with our members. She knew what that experience was like. She worked for Bechtel and came to us with a very similar approach, that we could take labor's money, put it in and invest with partners like we're doing with Table Rock here, and we can get a good return, good, strong, sound, safe return for our investors. That's always number one. But the second thing is we can create jobs for union members. And we can do that just like we're going to do right here in Rialto. We're making history here today. I always say, sometimes we can't trust Wall Street. Now, you can't have a union card in your pocket without knowing that. And sometimes I say we can't wait on Washington, because they can't seem to get out of their own way sometimes. So you know what? We can do it ourselves. We started our own training apprenticeship programs, which are second to none in the world. We provide our own health care for our members through our health and welfare plan, second to nobody in the world. And we offer retirement security for our members through our pension plan, second to nobody in the world. We know how to do this. We set about the task to roll up our sleeves and create our first infrastructure fund. Lori said he's going to lock me in the room and keep me till we fund more projects. Well, Lori, let me tell you, where do we get the money? We get the money from those of you in this room that sit as trustees on your pension funds. Like I said, we only have one customer. That's the American labor movement. When you look at, when your consultant looks at, when your attorney looks at, when you look at how do we have a safe, sound investment vehicle, and I was talking to Amy earlier, I said, When we were out launching this, it's hard to do. It's like organizing. And the consultant said, hey, come back and see us when you've got some projects under your belt. It all sounds good, but proof's in the pudding. Rialto gives us that proof. Rialto is our first project. Now we're able to show that we're able to do this. Second, what's the labor movement stand for? The labor movement stands for being good partners in the community. We want to be a valued partner of Rialto. Union members live in Rialto. We want union members and all members of the community. The labor movement has a history of fighting for strong communities, fighting for right in strong communities. We want to be a valued partner with Rialto. We want Rialto to be proud Ullico is part of the Rialto community. We want the citizens of Rialto to be proud that they're getting good service, reasonable rates, jobs produced, so that we are a good partner of Rialto. That's what we're trying to do. This is labor's company. This is your company in this room. This is what this company's created for. This is the next 86 years as Ullico and Union Labor Life had the past 86 years. This is where we take the future. When we look at the challenges of the labor movement, they are many. They are many. We all know that. What are some of the solutions? This is one of the very, very important solutions that we have to help rebuild our labor movement, keep our members working, keep our pensions safe and sound, be good partners in the community. Thanks for listening to me today. Thank you very much. Thank you for all you do. Thank you.